It's Raquel. Welcome back to Recovery to Wellness. This is where survivors radiate badassery. It is currently November 16th, 2024, and I am about to put on a Josh Woodward song because it's very quiet. I'm in the library, of course, as always, and I am filming a video book review. Let me see, let's do Letting Go, the instrumental. I've done that one in a while. Cool. So we are doing a video book review, and it's on this book, The Here and Now Habit by Hugh G. Bryan. I don't know if Bryan is the way you pronounce it, but it's a 2016 book all about mindfulness. I borrowed it from the library. So I have papers scattered all over here, and there is the computer here, you're over there. Like, it's kind of chaotic. We're just kind of living in chaos at the moment. And so yeah, this review it's been in the works for a while. I have been hardcore procrastinating on completing this review. I'm accruing fines, like it's a whole thing. So very imperfect. The last review that I did it more like structured in a sense, but also like I don't think it came out the way I intended it to come out, so I don't know what I'm doing, basically. So The Here and Now Habit. I read this between September 2024 and October 2024. It is certainly November 2024 when I am really doing the video book review and the written review, because I have all of the papers of the handwritten review, again, scattered everywhere. I started reading this September 19th, 2024, and then into October 1st, 2nd, and 5th is when October 5th is when I finished reading the book. So, and then the review process has been happening pretty much in November, from handwritten version, typing it up, trying to put it together, putting everything in a spot. It's pretty chaotic and I don't know what I'm doing, but this is video book review number 14. So this is going to be very confusing. It's honestly very confusing because I haven't done like when I finished reading the books, so that's the order of which, that's why some of my reviews that I posted on my channel and here on YouTube, like sometimes it'll be like review like number 9 and then the next one will be like review 14. Like it's gonna be weird just because I'm doing a whole new system kind of thing, and it's just chaotic good, hopefully, but like I don't know. So this is not going well, but regardless, trigger warnings, which there are really none other than like kind of like healthier eating and like tips like that, but really it's not any. It is a nonfiction book and self-help. The length of the book is 190 pages, including all the references and such. This book is also different than the last book review I have published online, the video book review at least. Like the pseudoscience book was the last one that I edited and uploaded. That one, the difference between that one and this book is definitely the fact that this book has a lot more actual like resources and references to studies and articles and like, you know, sort of peer-reviewed kind of feedback and such, which again is very different than the pseudoscience book because the pseudoscience book didn't have any references or anything to that effect. So this one has a lot more of like the psychology kind of stuff, the neuroplasticity, mindfulness, Buddhism, all of that jazz. There's a great bibliography, which I actually will be doing in the Recovery Reads Report, some of the references or some of the bibliography stuff that I really want to check out myself as well in the future, because I think it'd be interesting. There's like 4, I think, on that list. Loving kindness is also mentioned in this book, which is great, and I'm mentioning it in the book review on my blog, because that's actually a concept and an idea and a theme that comes up in other books that I've been reading, so it's very like, it's all kind of connected in a way, so which is exciting. What I'm doing now is like, I have a book review that I'm posting onto my blog. Nobody's reading it, but it's there. So I post a book review, which is a smaller version, and then I do a recovery reads report, which this one, for this book, I am actually planning to write like an essay kind of, at least more of an essay to it than I've done in the previous recovery reads reports, the R3s. All of these handwritten notes for my review process, but like I'm at the point now where I have to just kind of put it all in and then form around it and then grapple with it in that sense, which is not going super well right now. So I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying it. So I'm gonna get through it is what's gonna happen, and it's gonna be imperfect and problematic, but if it gets done, it gets done, and that's all that counts, is that, you know, I'm figuring it out, I'm trying something new, I'm trying different things. This book I do recommend a 5 out of 5, like 5 stars out of 5 stars, which is the highest that I go to, because normally my scale is 0 to 5, so definitely recommend this book. As for what the book is, again, it's on mindfulness. I'll read you this quote if you don't know mindfulness very well, or if you need a refresher. Mindfulness is the awareness that emerges through paying attention on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally to the unfolding of experience moment to moment. That's from Cabot Rin, 2003, and also quoted again by Brian, 2016, page 30. So, like, mindfulness is such a huge, prominent sort of coping skill in a sense, and you know, it's a big part of, you know, one of the 4 modules of dialectical behavior therapy, which is DBT. And it was great to read this book, I found, because I went to a DBT intensive program back in like May 2018. I did a DBT intensive program and a day program at Passages. And I did that from May 2018 to January 2020. So it was a big thing. So, and DBT and mindfulness like totally helped me out so much with my mental health, especially with the borderline personality disorder and depression and stuff to that effect, because like DBT is composed of interpersonal effectiveness, mindfulness, distress tolerance, and emotion regulation. And I went from having like a trigger happen in my life and being unstable mentally and emotionally for like 3 or 4 days to be just an uncomfortable 20 minutes. So that is huge. That whole process was huge. And I think too, the effort that mindfulness also comes out of, in a sense, is, so this is the one I'm thinking of, one of the quotes that I mentioned in the review is, the path to freedom from suffering is, ironically, willingness to experience suffering. The challenge is to have the courage to meet your pain and your suffering without either identifying with it or resisting it. From Brian, 2016, page 38. So again, it's that whole mindfulness is that sort of like, I'm going to sit with this uncomfortable thought or this uncomfortable feeling or this uncomfortable bodily sensation, and taking no action with that thought or feeling or urge or whatever it may be, and just experiencing it. It's gonna be really uncomfortable, it's gonna be painful, it's gonna be shit. And that is how you move through it, in a sense. Like, they have the Robert Frost quote, the best way out is always through. And just how, like, it's ironic because to rid yourself of suffering, in a sense, is to have to actually experience it for a moment and let it go. Not resisting it, not like grabbing onto it, not identifying as it, but just allowing it, recognizing it, giving it space to feel and hurt and be there, and letting it go. Kind of watch it at, cause you know, they say the classic, like, watch a thought or feeling go as like clouds in the sky or leaves on a pond, like, or ripples in the water, in a sense, like, because it is time sensitive. Like, it will not be forever, in a sense. It will feel like it, and it is time sensitive. A crisis is time sensitive. It will go away in a while. It might come back and it will go away. You know, it's like the tides on the beach kind of thing. The wave comes in, the wave recedes, the wave comes back. And it's just kind of, and that's the whole idea too of urge surfing as well. So that's like a big thing. And then also a really big thing I really want to mention too. So this is also, this book is about, it's called The Here and Now Habit. So it's about how we can use mindfulness to alter our either unhealthy or harmful behaviors that are no longer serving us. So the sort of habits that we use, the habits that we've gotten into, fallen into patterns with, in a sense, and that neuroplasticity of, if you change certain things, you change certain cues, or you change certain reactions you have to things, then you can change sort of how your sort of life path kind of follows, in a sense. Your behaviors follow how you respond to things. You might not be able to change your reaction to things, but it's how you respond to it that's where you hold power, in a sense. And so mindfulness is a huge proponent of that, in a sense, because then you can kind of like, okay, I'm noticing this feeling, I'm experiencing this anxiety, I'm experiencing this sadness. Allow it to be there for a moment, take no action with it, and then it will pass, and I'll be like, okay, cool, now I'm gonna go do the other thing I have to do. Or if I'm sitting and doing a meditation, I can kind of, okay, there's a random thought about what am I gonna make for dinner tonight, right? I'm going to allow that thought to be there and just watch it kind of go, and then there's another thought that comes by, and then there's another thought, and whatever kind of thing. So mindfulness is a huge skill, very important. Not sure if I summed it up all the way, but I'm going to choose to believe that I summed it up relatively well and go from there. I'm not going to get stuck on the thought, I'm just going to let it go and move forward. So this book is really great for sort of habit retraining, in a sense, and just kind of like, you know, establishing a new relationship to things. Like one of the other quotes I had mentioned in this review, I believe. I also have the language component, but I'm going to keep that in the review itself. If you're interested in that, you can go check it out, but on my blog. In the outstanding quote section in the review says, to ensure your actions are keeping with your values and goals, establish implementation intentions, or plans of action that specify the exact behaviors you'll take in response to specific cues. For example, as soon as the 6 o'clock news is over, I will switch the TV off, put on my running shoes, and go out for a 30-minute run. So again, that's like changing, like one small thing can change sort of the outcome, in a sense. There's all these different paths that we take, and changing just one little thing can actually have enough of an impact to, you know, change and curb a behavior that maybe is no longer serving us. So something that I did like today even was, I'll like grab my phone. You know, my sort of unhealthy, unwanted habit is using my phone whenever I'm eating, right? So like breakfast time, it's like normally the habitual behavior I have is I'll take my phone with me, I'll eat breakfast, I'll be watching a YouTube video, then I'm in my pajamas, so then I go upstairs to my room and I'm like, oh, I'll just lay down for a little bit, and then I go under the covers and I keep watching the thing, but then I get tired and then I fall asleep, and then it's like a whole issue, right? So at least for me, because it's not like what I wanted to do, in a sense, right? But that's like the habit that I have. So today even I was like, I'm gonna get dressed for the day before I go downstairs. I'll bring my iPod with me, playing a song that has been helping me for, it's like a time, like on the concept of time, which I'm actually doing a video on sometime soon. So anywho, I was like, I'll change for the day, that way when I come back to my bed, go back upstairs, I won't crawl back into bed because I'm already changed for the day, so then I can kind of get started with the next few things I want to do. So little things like that, in a sense. Another really great quote from this book, there's actually a couple other quotes I want to mention to you guys in this review, so I'm going to definitely do that soon. Told you about loving kindness. So this is the big one that I really included as I highlighted it as the big quote that it kind of ends off the review itself for the book review on my blog, but then I still have to do the recovery reads report. But finally, one of the deepest truths of mindfulness and life is that you can begin again in any moment. You can open to this breath, this feeling, this moment with a beginner's mind, letting any residue or baggage from the past or thoughts of the future fall away. You can come back to the present, to these practices that are mentioned in this book, at any time, anywhere. That's Brian 2016, page 179. So I really loved that because I think for me at least, I always get really kind of lost in perfection. And there's a quote that I created about how a situation can be imperfect and still be worthy of being experienced and explored. And that's like a really good one for me because like sometimes what'll happen to me is like I'll get up for the day and it's like, say I was like, okay, I was gonna go get up at 9 and then I was gonna eat breakfast and then I was gonna go to the library and then I was gonna go do this and that, right? So that would be like the plan, the intention that I had for the day. And then in actuality, I get up at 11 o'clock in the morning and then I'm like, oh, I haven't got a coffee yet, so I have to like do this, and that before I do a coffee. But then also, now it's like 2 in the afternoon and like, or it's, maybe let's say it's noon in the afternoon, and then I'm not gonna have like 4 hours of the library, I'm only gonna have 2 hours of the library, right? So that's very imperfect, right? And then I'll just be like, well, fuck it, I'll just not go to the library at all. And then like, I'll just fall asleep or I do whatever. So those are like the sort of behaviors and patterns that I have, right? I totally forgot why I mentioned that, but like that imperfection in a sense, right? But if I actually kind of allow myself to be like, okay, I don't want to fall into the trapment of perfection. So even though it is noon and it's not 9 or 10 a.m., I am still going to go to the library. Maybe I only go to the library for like 20 minutes. I can still get shit done in 20 minutes. I can still read like 2 pages of a book in 20 minutes. So I could still, it's not the sort of perfect image that I had in my head going into the day. However, I can still find the imperfection of it and still like experience it and still get something worthwhile out of it, even if it wasn't perfect. And like that kind of thing really helps me. Like that really helps to be like, you know, maybe I wanted to go out on a photo shoot at like 2 in the afternoon, but I didn't get out until 4 in the afternoon, right? I could still get a lot of photo stuff done and still get like different, like sometimes I'll go into a photo shoot and I'm like, I'm gonna shoot like myself and like in the leaves, like in fall kind of thing, right? And then I go out for the shoot and I'm like, oh, cool, a leaf over here. Oh, look, there's an acorn over here. And then I get lost in other things that, like, again, it wasn't in my intention, in my plan necessarily. And that's okay because things aren't going to be perfect all the time or even really any of the time. And that's okay. Like, it's okay to have imperfection and to have things not go as planned. And even sometimes when they don't go as planned, they go even better than planned. And it's just that kind of the fact that like how so much of life I find is like not replicable in a sense. It cannot equally be replicated. And I find it very interesting that even for the career that I have, you know, I get so lost in perfection, but even when I create a group for work, like if I present it at work on like a Saturday and then I present it the next time like 3 weeks later on a Tuesday, it's just adding one other person into that mix, I'm not going to get the exact same group every time. It's going to be different based on the people that I'm working with. And if I add just an extra person comes into the group room, like that's going to be, it's so not replicable. And it's really fascinating, I think, that like I strive for perfection, but at the same time cannot achieve it on a day-to-day basis, and how do I respond and react to that is really kind of up to me and really up to how I'm thinking that day or whatever. And also like mindfulness stuff too is going to be really imperfect as well. Like I'm not gonna, even just having read this book, like I'm not gonna be always 100% of the time doing the things that I need to do or breaking those harmful habits or unhealthy habits in a sense. Like it's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. It's part of the process. It's part of the journey. It's kind of, this video in a sense also completely imperfect. Like it's not perfect at all. Like it's very scattered, and you know, maybe that's okay sometimes. Probably not in the future of video book reviews, but it is what it is and we'll deal with it. So anywho, I think I said quite a bit for this. There's actually a couple of quotes that I want to mention, but I am going to return this book again. It's 190 pages, 5 out of 5 stars. I definitely really recommend it if you want, like, if you need like an reintroduction to mindfulness. It's a great book for that, especially if you already know stuff about mindfulness, that kind of thing. It's also, again, more about habit changes and such too, so that's also really important. Oh, one of the meditations I really, really enjoyed from this book. So the other thing I will also mention with this book is that I definitely was able to practice some mindfulness while doing the exercises or doing the sort of reading process of the book, which was really great. And meditations I really enjoyed was the I am aware of meditation. So for instance, the author, practices it in a coffee shop. He's aware of the tightness in his belly, a song on the radio, aware of voices, the thought that they should oil the door, someone asks if she can sit down, a song, blah, blah, whatever. So that's from page 74. So just like doing an I am meditation of like, for right now, I'll even do it, right? So I am aware of meditation. I'm aware of the song that's playing on my iPod. I'm aware of the laptop screen that keeps falling asleep on me. I'm aware of all these scattered papers, scattered thoughts. I'm aware of the sunlight kind of coming in. I think I can kind of feel some of the sunlight on my body as well. I'm aware that it's time for me to leave because I want to try to go to an event that I totally forgot about. And it's, I'm aware of trying to rush and trying to do all the things, and also kind of accepting that I might not be able to do all the things, and maybe having some more acceptance of that in a sense. Like, again, like the day didn't go as planned, and maybe that's okay. Maybe it didn't have to go as planned. Maybe it wasn't in the cards to go as planned in a sense, right? Based on all these changing multiple factors. So, I think I liked this one. It's another quote from someone else. But ultimately, happiness comes down to choosing between the discomfort of becoming aware of your mental afflictions and the discomfort of being ruled by them. And that was from Yunji Mingyor, page 250 from 2007. That was on page 90 of the current book. This one's all just recovery read stuff. There were probably others, honestly, but these are all out of order now. So, any final thoughts? Let me wrap this video up. Let's take a deep breath, right? We were listening to I'm Letting Go instrumental by Josh Woodward. Okay. So, this was a very scattered video book review. Do let me know in the comments and any ideas for how to structure these videos. It's probably, if I can get my shit together and edit and upload the ones I have already filmed, that would be great, because then you can have more information as to what works and what doesn't. But right now I don't have that. So at the time that I'm filming this, at least. But let me know in the comments, like, any critiques, any ideas of how to structure them better. I feel like they're just really scattered in a sense, but then even when I try to like do it more of a structured way, I think it also is scattered, so I don't. But if you have other, like, if there's other YouTube channels that you know of that do video book reviews or book reviews in general, let me know too, so then I can kind of check out how other people do it and how I can kind of like, not fall in line with that, but kind of get an idea as to how to do it myself as well. Kind of adding what I can to it, but also like, having it be more consumable and edible in a sense, right? So anywho, thank you so much for watching, thanks for listening, and thanks for being here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will see you very soon. And as always, stay safe, much love and light to you. And again, what was anything from this video, this book review, that you stuck out to you, or things that maybe you want to read in the future? Let me know. What book are you currently reading? I'm currently reading one about the White House, history of the White House in the US, which is very interesting, and I definitely want to get further in that book too. I have so many books that are due soon, and I gotta really read all of them, so it's gonna be a little interesting. All right. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Bye. Wait a few seconds. I think I can make it to the other thing I wanted to go to. Also, this is the amount of flags. Where's the flags? The flags page.
Guiding like a lighthouse to I will even